All right, the study guide. Let's do some graphing, other stuff. So I want to graph a square root. So HK is important to me. H is under the square root sign, but it is, you change the sign. K is -3, and that's where your graph starts. So let's start at 1 and -3. There we go. We need to change two other points from the parent. So from a square root, the square root of 1 is 1, and the square root of 4 is 2. Those 2 points we're going to change. How do I do that? So the h, +1, we're going to add 1 to the x. And then to the y value, we're going to multiply and then subtract. So 1 times 3, take away 3. 2 times 3, 6, take away 3. And put those points on our graph. So 2, 0 was at 5, 3. And then the curve, so it starts here and it curves up, up, up. And there you go. And then it says domain and range. So the domain comes from the h, so it goes from 1 to infinity, and the range comes from the k, so it's -3 to infinity. All right, number 2. Again, it's a square root, hk, so 2 and -2. And then we're going to change these points. So we're going to have 2, -2, change these points. So 1, we're going to add 2. That's 3. 4, we're going to add 2. That's 6. And then we're going to multiply by -1. So 1 times -1, and then subtract 2. So again, we're going to go 2 times -1, -2, take away 2. We're going to put those on there. So 3, -3, and 6, -4. And then this one curves down like that because of that negative. So the domain is the h, so it goes 2 to infinity. The range goes from the bottom to the top, so it's -infinity, up to the k value. So because it's been reflected, we need to be aware of that range, kind of how it switches around. All right, number 3, how do you graph a cube root? HK again. That's a good place to start. So -3, -1. The 2 points we're going to change here are 1, 1, and -1, -1 from the parent. And again, we're going to subtract 3. And to the y value, we're going to multiply it times 4, take away 1. And -1 times 4, which is -4, take away 1, which is -5. This is -1, take away 3. So we take those points. So -2, 3, and -4, 5, -5. And then it curves this way, curves that way, and you have the curve. The domain and the range for a cube root is all real numbers, and it doesn't change. Number 4, hk, +2, -1. So 2 to the right, 1 down. We have 1, 1, and -1, -1. We're going to change these. So we're going to add 2. And then we're going to multiply. So 1 times -3 is -3. Take away 1 is -4. So it's 3, -4. And then the second one, negative times a negative, +3, take away 1. So that's 2. So 1, 2. And again, this is going to curve just like so. And this is going to curve like so. And you have your graph. Again, the domain and range don't change. It's all real numbers. All right, turn the page. Can you simplify square roots? So I need to know the perfect square that goes into it evenly. This is going to be 25 times 5. This one's going to be 16, times 3. If they're the same radical, that's -2 and -1. That's -3 root 2. I might have to simplify first. So 27 is 9 times 3. So that's 3 root 3. So -2 and -3. Here again, when you multiply 2 times 4, and then root 3 times root 3 is 3, and then together that makes 24. Here, 2 times -5, and then 3 times 2 is root 6. Divide, I'm going to simplify it first. So 3 over 12 is 1 over 4. Square root of 1, square root of 4. Done. Nothing simplifies here, so root 2, that's root 6 over 2. Write each one in exponential form. So the denominator is the square root, and the numerator is the power. The denominator is 3, and the numerator is 1. So every radical can be written as a fraction. How about the other way around? Just write it. Don't. So it's cube root to the fourth. This is square root to the third. So you have the ability to write it in either way. Remember, the denominator is the root, numerator is the power. Here, what is the cube root of 27? And then that to the power of 2. So what number 3 times itself is 27? And then square it. Here, this means square root. That number's 7. Solve each equation. We got to make sure there's no extraneous solutions at the end. So we're going to square this to begin with. That's 43 take away 2b equals 25. Subtract 43. What do you think? 43 take away 25. That's 18, negative 18. Divide by negative 2. And then b is 9. I got to be careful. If I plug in 9, does it work? It does. But you have to double check. We're looking for negative numbers on either side. Here, square both sides. That's just 2m take away 7. That's 14 take away m. Add m. Add 7. So I have 3m equaling 21. Divide by 3. Oops, that's 7. If I plug 7 into either side, it's a positive, and they match each other. Again, I'm going to square both sides, so it's just n subtract 3 equals 5 minus n. Add n, add 3. So 2n is equal to 8. Divide, and you get the answer 4. 4 works on both sides. Here, we have to square it. This is going to be a quadratic, so it's negative 10 plus 11m equals m squared. Make it equal to 0, so I'm going to subtract 11m and add 10. I'm going to factor it, so two numbers that multiply to 10 and add to negative 11, so it's negative 10 and negative 1. Solve it, so each factor has a solution, so that's 10 and 1. All right, I'm going to press pause here. I'm going to have part 2 in a moment. Mr. G Math, over and out.